This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday morning. It's sunny outside at least. Couldn't say that about the last couple of days. But how is everyone's week?
Good. Yeah, it's good. I hope we don't get another temperature drop like we did yesterday.
Was that a drop? I thought that was normal.
It's kind of brisk this morning. It was a little chilly.
Felt good.
It dropped yesterday. Started at like 6, 7 a.m. It was like 46, 47, somewhere in there.
No, yesterday morning it was like 32.
No,
I went out like 6 a.m. I was up with the birds. It was like 37.
I was like 45.
Really?
I checked before I left the house, and then after I left the radio show, it just dropped out of nowhere. Like, it's crazy.
You know what though? I live by the North Pole, so it could have been a difference in swing in temperature.
Because it probably was a little colder up north, but it's ridiculous how it dropped.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. L'Jarius Sneed, we'll dive into that. Will he sign with another team? Will he sign with the Chiefs? I mean, the franchise tag's been placed on him, but we'll see. And we'll talk about the new NIL tournament that's happening. I think the NCAA has taken a page out of the NBA's book. We'll dive into that, and then we'll talk Jason Kelce. He retired earlier this week, and then we'll dive into LeBron James. I know y'all want to talk the 40,000 point mark, but that's coming up in our headlines. Let's get into today's headlines.
Yeah.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
7 teams have expressed interest in trading for L'Jarius Sneed. He had quite the season. Hot topic. Of course, the Chiefs have placed the unexclusive franchise tag on him. What are you guys' hot takes?
Steve, where do you think he's going?
I think he's going to take, and he should, rightfully so, take the most money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now he has a little over $19 million franchise tag placed on him, but it's non-exclusive, which means the team has given him the opportunity to go. If another team wants to meet that or beat that deal, well, they have to beat it, actually, meet or beat it. He can go sign with them, but the Chiefs have an option. It still gives them an option to say, hey, if a team's going to pay you $20 million, we'll come back and say, all right, we'll match that deal. And L'Jarius has to, choose up.
Mm-hmm.
Does he want to stay with his old girl, or does he want to go with the new fling? So it's going to be up to L'Jarius. And if I'm L'Jarius Sneed, I am wanting the longer term deal for the most money. I've won 2 Super Bowls, played in 3, and I'm going for the bag. I've been healthy now. That's really relative because there's been said he has some knee issues, which he's had knee issues. He missed a couple of games before because of the knee, and now it's just like, man, hey, I'm trying to take care of my family. This $19 million for 1 year. And this is the league. It's not if you get hurt, it's when. So I think you've got to look at long term. And if I'm, like I said, if I'm L'Jarius Sneed, I'm looking at all the other corners in the league, and I'm putting myself right there at the top of that list. Remember, he didn't allow a touchdown in this past season. He did not allow a 100-yard wide receiver this past season. We're talking about going up against the likes of Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, all those big name guys. He lined up. Justin Jefferson lined up against all of them. Didn't allow a touchdown or 100 yards. So I'm like, man, y'all got to pay me. And I want a long term. I'm talking 3 to 5 years. And if I'm throwing a number out there, man, I'm at least, if it's a 5-year deal, you've got to give me 23 mil a year, somewhere in there. I need 100 million for that contract. Now, will he play it out? That's, he's still young. But I mean, you gotta pay me, and I need to guarantee when I sign my name, give me 30-40 million out the gate.
And it looks like Packers Jair Alexander is the highest paid at 21. The total value, which is average salary at 21.
Yeah.
Total value 80 with a guarantee of 30 million. So that, I mean, that's right in that, in that sweet spot. Do you think a team offers more than that 2021 range?
Depends on their need. I mean, teams you're only gonna get paid of what people feel like your value is, and I think his value is at the top right now. And you got to strike while the iron's hot. You just do. Think about the top corners in the league. You mentioned Jair Alexander.
And then you got Denzel Ward.
You got Denzel Ward, who's what is he making?
Denzel Ward is at 20 million, right under Jair.
Yeah. And then I mean you factor in, is he better than those guys, or at least right there?
He has a longer deal.
What's his deal?
Because his is 5 years, 100.
What was Jalen Ramsey's deal? Because he was the highest paid. Remember, he pulled up to training camp with the Brinks truck. Y'all remember that?
But that was years ago.
I know.
And so now his is at 18.3.
Yeah, and at that time, you just think about how Jalen Ramsey is. L'Jarius Sneed hasn't been really vocal about being paid until recently. So think about it. Like, it's not in his makeup to, pay me. He's gonna do his work quietly. Like some guys in the league, it's like, all right, you see this? They coming after every play, they doing the money sign. L'Jarius just goes out there and plays. Yeah. Now, does that change when he gets paid? That's yet to be seen. But I don't feel like it's in his makeup.
No, and I think he should go for the money. I mean, if you've got 2 Super Bowls, I think that's, you've reached the apex twice.
And you're healthy still.
I don't know if you're chasing rings anymore after that.
Honestly.
And especially even looking at Tyreek's case, like Tyreek definitely went for the money.
But is Tyreek happy right now?
I think the pay is what equals happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if
they say more money, more problems.
But I don't know if the current state of really any sport, because I was gonna say football, but I think it's basketball as well. You don't have many people chasing the ring as much as you're chasing a payday.
That's true.
And to already have 2, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like he hasn't been there before. So,
yeah.
I mean, I see him chasing the bag. But then again, like you said, him being humble, I could also see a certain level of loyalty there, I guess, and him sticking around. But
loyalty ain't in the NFL.
True.
Not right now.
That L in the NFL is not loyalty.
Not right now. I mean, especially as you're trying to get out, you're still on your rookie deal. You're trying to get to the bag. Like if you're Travis Kelce, yes,
True.
I would say, you're going to give that loyalty, that hometown discount, but not L'Jarius Sneed trying to get to his second, because this would be if Travis is able to sign one more for another 1 or 2 year deal, that'll be his 4th.
Sheesh. Yeah.
After a restructure, so really his 5th.
Right.
So, I mean, he ain't been in the league. He ain't been in the game long enough.
True. So between him and the Chris Jones dilemma, which one, both, do you think the Chiefs get done? How does that go down? And do you think that they did the unexclusive to be able to accommodate and help with the Chris Jones situation?
Yeah, they learned.
Yeah, I think they wanted to give him a chance to, like, see what his value is. Now, are they willing to pay it? Who knows?
Right.
Like, that's up in the air. Because I mean, if you're L'Jarius Sneed, if you stay with this team, you're potentially facing the same issue next year.
Right.
Because you saw them do it with Jones. And I won't say it's predicated on it. I don't see him staying if he gets a good offer and Chris Jones leaves.
It's risky because I don't see this team re-signing Chris Jones. I really don't. As much as they talk about it, I mean, you could have signed Chris Jones last year for $28 million. That was your offer, or that was what Chris Jones was asking last year.
But they still had him on the franchise tag, didn't they?
Yeah, and you could have signed him for $28 million. Now his value, I would say Chris is going to ask for 30 at least. You could have got the discount last year. So why would you spend more the following year, right? When you could, that just doesn't make smart business sense for me. And you don't want to lose both. Like, they're two key pieces on your defense. And you're playing with fire right now because you still haven't gotten a deal done with Chris Jones. You already used your franchise tag on L'Jarius Sneed. So now it's like, man, now don't get me wrong. There for people thinking like, are they still working on a deal with both? Yes, they're working on Chris Jones's deal, and they're also working on L'Jarius Sneed's deal while they place the franchise tag, unexclusive franchise tag on him. It just gives you a little bit of leeway and I said they've learned because last year, you remember, they franchise tagged Chris Jones. However, they were the wide receiver space kind of had them in a chokehold because they were trying to figure out, okay, well, can we go sign a big name guy?
Right.
And I don't feel like they were still trying to hold some money back because we may need to hold this back for this big wide receiver, and then they couldn't do it, so they go and sign two offensive tackles, and all your money's gone at that point. So I feel like they got some work to do because they still got to go and sign a receiver, but they still got some work.
Yeah.
To do.
So which one do you gun for if you're the Chiefs?
I'm taking the younger guy because we got to remember Chris Jones is 30 years old.
Right. Q?
After seeing the beginning of the season last year, I'm keeping Chris Jones.
What?
Well, and I say that because the Chiefs draft well at corner.
Fair.
Yeah. Recently.
I mean, as far back as Marcus Peters.
Okay. I you know what? I'll agree with you on that. Yeah, they have. They really have. Because you look at Marcus Peters, Traverse Ward. Yeah, they have.
Traverse Ward's one of the highest paid corners right now. So
really
again, they've drafted well at corner.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you expect that, but you figure some sort of evaluation is there.
Right.
Like the Chiefs have always, and I mean, really as of late has always been good. The organization has been good at drafting running backs.
And here's the thing about that too. They may lose Dave Merritt, who is their cornerbacks coach, who's been the cornerbacks coach for Marcus Peters, for all those guys. They may lose him because he's I think he's interviewing with San Francisco, or he has interviewed already with San Francisco as, I want to say defensive coordinator, maybe. So they may lose Dave Merritt. That may be another thing too.
And was there any truth to the 49ers trying to steal Spagnuolo?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything, but yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I would say this draft is going to be key. Now, they don't need as much as they have in the past. But you better believe they're going to draft another corner. They're going to draft a defensive lineman. They're going to draft the offensive lineman and a wide receiver. Those are four positions that you've got to, and a linebacker. So 5 positions that you've got to go get.
Which are you taking first?
Best
Wide
available.
receiver?
Best available. You got the last pick in the draft. You always got to take best available.
True. Q?
I think you get who you want. I think a lot of teams go into the draft that have a few, pinpoints on a couple of guys that they want at each position.
Some are ranked higher than rated higher than others.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you got a point to do the best available. But I think it's the best fit because not everybody's able to play in every system. And it especially some guys, if they're just off of raw talent, if you don't have the development there, what do you have? And I don't know. I mean, I think the Chiefs, as of late, over the last 7 or 8 years, they've done well at drafting and developing players. But it's keeping them happy.
Right.
Is the issue with the Chiefs?
They've been able to do that though. You win a ring, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be real happy. That champagne shower is a little different.
I mean, it is, but that didn't stop the team from being ranked dead last.
So what would you sacrifice? What do you have to do to keep both and to keep both happy?
I don't think you keep both. Yeah, because
There's just no
yeah.
written. It's not written in the cards.
You have Travis and Patrick's salary.
True.
Those are two that mean the most. Now,
I don't think Travis is that detrimental to you. I think your Joe Tooney deal. I think that the MVS money that you're able to save, with cutting him, you still got some other guys that are making more. Because Travis is, I think, third behind Joe Tooney and Travis Kelce. I mean, and Patrick Mahomes on the team. So you got some other guys that are making pretty good.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You aren't getting too many more contracts put ahead of those two. And offensive linemen, yes, you want somebody to protect Patrick, but I mean, I think we're in an age now where you can get another tight end.
Yeah. And probably picking one up in the draft. You still got Jody Fortson, who, if he can stay healthy, I feel like he's pretty good.
Guess we'll see. In Spags we trust. Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
A new in-season men's college basketball tournament to offer $2 million in NIL deals. We saw a little bit of this, like you said, in NBA, having the in-season tournament. I was a fan of it. NIL deals is a whole other conversation, though. Q, your thoughts on this one?
So wait, it's an in-season tournament?
In-season men's tournament to offer $2 million in NIL deals.
And how many teams is in this tournament? Because this isn't like the
16 teams.
Okay, 16 teams. That just, it sounds complicated already.
It's round robin, so basically you lose, you're out. And they do in-season tournaments all the time. You got to think about when
so how do you
Kansas go to Maui tournament?
How do you select the 16 teams? Is it the top 16?
No, it's right now they've offered it up to, I think they've already got like Alabama, Duke, FAU, Houston, Kansas, Oregon, San Diego State, St. John, Syracuse, Virginia to participate. But
sounds like a lot of blue bloods, but yeah.
Yeah. And so within that $2 million, your team gets the first $1 million. And then what happens after you get that $1 million is divvied up however the team wants to divvy it up.
That's
within the player. It has to be within for current players though. And then if you win, you get the other $1.5 million.
And that sounds low for a team.
The winning team will be eligible to earn another $1 million.
And you split. And if you're just giving it to the players, because I don't feel like you're giving it to the coaches. If you're just giving it to players, I mean, $1 million with 12 guys can go a long way.
Facts.
No, I'm just saying I think $2 million in total is kind of low. Like
2.5.
Yeah.
So but it's cool because it's giving these guys. And I watched. Who was it? I was watching. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. And I don't know if y'all saw this. I may have shared it to the group, but Kevin Garnett had a huge point. He's like, man, I don't know any men's college basketball players that I can name.
Yeah.
He said, but women, I can drop names for you.
Yeah.
Like I know more women basketball players. And it just made me think like, man, the women's game and just being at the Big 12 tournament, women's tournament, this past 3 days, I'm watching the women play and I'm like, man, I don't need to watch men. Like the women are out there balling.
I mean, it's the same you see in rap and in music. Women are a lot more marketable now. Um, so you have that solidarity between a lot of women, and especially in sports. Um, but yeah, it's hard to market guys in the NCAA because the good ones are going to be there for 4 months.
Right.
True.
And you really don't build that like chemistry, that camaraderie, and then even really that base, because a lot of guys in the past have built, themselves, their brand, everything from the college game, and then transferring it into the major leagues. But he has a point, because I don't, you think about a couple of years ago, the hype around Zion, and then you have a couple of guys following, because Buddy Hield was real, was real big at one point.
JJ Redick, you had Melo was huge.
Yeah.
These guys now, they're not, and you talk about marketable. There's no, the NIL deals, there's not really marketing behind these. They're not pushing them. To me, the guys aren't really pushing themselves and bringing themselves to the forefront, like a Caitlin Clark, or like a Juju at USC, or like a LSU. What's her?
But again,
Angel Reese.
But again, they're marketable.
Yeah.
Like
They run with it.
They're very fun, and a lot of different things. And guys just haven't. I think they just got comfortable where they were.
I agree.
Because the women are really scrapping, and you look at really a lot of the games. Their games are a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
So you don't really. Yeah, it's tough to market men's basketball right now, and especially in the college ranks.
I agree, and love that. I just loved that whole blurb. But I also like this for the fact that it's a group thing. Like, I've so many times we've seen with the NIL deals, and I get it. Like, I understand, of course, you want to go after the most marketable player, the most popular player. But I like that this is they're able to all pursue it and then divvy it up, because a lot of these NIL deals are just chasing the star player or just want, and so I like that they have to work towards something together versus just picking the best man off the roster and we're going to do this for you. So I think that'll also just light a fire underneath the guys, the teams, hopefully, for them all to be chasing something. I would play a little bit better knowing that's on the line, you know?
And that's what I'm going to ask you. Like, do you feel like these guys will play harder? Will they because you get the guys, like, of course, Bill Self has issues with his guys starting off the season. Always. He always talking about we're soft. Every year, Bill Self is like, yeah, my team is soft. Like, that's a going thing. You put that on bingo board, you're just going to hit.
It is.
And so by the end of the season, his team is like firing on all cylinders. Do you feel like if they put this at the beginning of the season, this will be something to keep the hype around men's college basketball?
No,
I don't think at the beginning of the season, because even
you
like
still
the
battling
Maui
football.
And then the Maui tournament that's at the beginning of the season, granted they're not playing for money, but it's always kind of a little bit watered down, and you don't give it as much credit to the tournament because it's like, oh, it's the beginning, they're still working the kinks out, like that type of stuff. So I feel like do it like in the middle of the season, like the NBA did when it's starting to click.
Like
so you really see, okay, this is whenever they're starting to build chemistry.
Yeah.
The guys who are just coming in and are only going to be there for a certain, like, they're just getting their traction. Like, I say put it in the middle of the season and just have a little blurb. But I was going to ask you guys, do you think then, which granted, of course, you're still pursuing a natty championship. That's always a big deal. But then does this water down a Big 12 tournament then?
No,
because you don't have.
Because a lot of those players are going for contracts. When you look at that end of season tournament, because a lot of that is, that's really where you're gonna make your money.
True.
And especially if you could shine in conference, and then hopefully that rolls over into a NCAA tournament or NIT, depending on where you fall. But I think you made a point about just again, guys not building chemistry, because Who won the national championship last year in men's basketball? Good. Nobody remembers. Because
I remember.
but you don't really remember like singular players. You don't remember anything like that because there's nothing to look forward to the next season because most likely all of those guys have entered the draft.
Yeah.
And with men's college basketball, there's nothing to look forward to. Last season, when LSU won, it was like, oh, LSU wins. But you also have South Carolina, which went undefeated again for the second time.
Shout out to Don Staley.
You still have Iowa in the fold. Outside of South Carolina, LSU, and Iowa, there's a couple of more teams that I'm not thinking about right now. But because I
still got UConn, you still got USC, you still
UConn,
got
USC. Like there's a couple of teams again that you can get excited about. Like over the summer, I saw what is it? Flaujae and Angel Reese doing their own rap videos and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff to get excited about. But with the men's tournament, you don't even have a team to look forward to. And that's the tough thing about doing it early in the season, because if everybody's a freshman like those Kentucky teams and everybody's about to leave, like everybody's really trying to just put up their own buckets and stuff. So
you ain't able to stack teams like that anymore, like because of the NIL deals. You're not able to, like, Calipari had a strong hold on everybody because he was able to.
Well, I mean, it was winning, but
DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, all them on the
winning,
same squad.
but also like John Calipari was one of those coaches that they knew he was going. And I mean, he really kind of ruined college basketball a little bit.
Didn't he have wasn't AD on that squad too?
And that's what I'm because they they had 3 years of players that all became like superstars. And not really superstars, but still like NBA stars, recognizable names. And you just don't have that in college basketball right now. Like in college football, there might be a couple of teams that you can be excited about. You're not really excited about Alabama this year, but there's a couple of teams that you can get excited about. But even still, those teams aren't firing on all cylinders until about mid to late season.
You know what it just does too? Is it kind of levels the playing field. Because if you know your team, let's just say, let me throw out, if you know Virginia, who is not really on the map like that, but if they go this or next year and win this NIL tournament, it's like, man, Virginia won that last year. I possibly can go and get me a cool little $200,000 or $150,000.
And if that happens, I think that raises the stakes. Especially if it gets more competitive. But I think college basketball ruined itself by being so late to the NIL conversation that people want to leave. But now they're in a point, like I think they're at a point where they can repair it. So say you have 3 in-season tournaments and you have 3 separate ones.
That's too much, Q. That's way too much.
You think that's too much?
That's way too much.
The
NBA
told social media to chill out on Bronny.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even like exciting right now.
He's a freshman. He's not 7 foot, able to play the wing. He just ain't.
Jalen Brunson wasn't 7 foot, but he was still like a force on the court. Though. I mean, yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't really have anybody to be excited about, and so I don't think they really have a lot to build on. But I think this could be one of those building blocks that potentially brings men's basketball back in the college realm. But I mean, how do you do it if people are leaving one and done?
Change the court colors, Q.
That ain't gonna get me to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Duke because the court's blue." Nah.
No, you know how NBA did the in-season, the crazy colors?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll do it.
That take away from some of that NIL money. You gotta pay for that. That ain't free.
Yo, and side note, Mizzou still hasn't won a conference game. Steve, what's that all about? Anyways, next.
Shots fired.
Why we got to throw Mizzou out there?
Next. We
Oh,
just
'cause we talking about college basketball.
Just sprinkling it in there like you always have
What we
to
got
do your
next,
K you
anyway?
hate. Yep. Anyways, Eagles Jason Kelce announced his retirement after 13 seasons. We got kind of like a little bluff there. We thought he did, came back. Now he actually did. You guys' thoughts on this one?
Yeah, he wanted to do it on his own terms. What was it? Adam Schefter that posted, "Oh, well, Jason Kelce announced to his team that this would be his last." Nah, come on, man. That takes away from everything. If he wanted to announce it at that time, he was going to announce it on his own.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and he did the whole press conference about it. He basically, and it's crazy because I felt like he would have done a retirement type tour. You know, like, this is my last hoorah. You know, kind of spark the team. But yeah, he's good. He's
Not in the
like,
NFL. When have you seen anybody do that in the NFL?
Ooh, saying that
haven't.
Tom Brady?
No.
No, he didn't do that. Oh, okay.
Because
I
remember
thought
when he retired, unretired, then
And then came back,
retired.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, he was on the
Yeah.
beach or something.
It was the same thing. So,
Yeah.
but I don't. I like this for him being able to control his own narrative. And I mean, you seen the writing on the wall. I mean, especially with the Eagles team and how they played this year. The writing was definitely on the wall that he was on the way out the door. But my question to this is, does Travis follow him next year?
I give him 2. I give him 2 years. I don't know
he's gonna
about.
play out the contract. He got 2 on his contract.
Yeah.
He's gonna play that out.
But honestly, I could see after this year at the same time.
If they win the Super Bowl this year, he's done. I can see
that.
Yeah, me too.
And especially following his brother, yeah, I think that's the perfect way to go.
I'm just saying, as close as they are, like,
You three-peated.
as close as they are, you would expect it, to be at the same time. But again, Travis is on a dynasty team. So how do you leave that? But how do you also leave the feeling of not wanting to play the game anymore?
Right.
It's huge because you know, guys go through a like the mental, I guess you can say mental anguish of like, I'm not a fan favorite anymore. Like I sometimes guys need that.
Yeah.
Like when you're done playing sports, it's like you can walk into the grocery store and ain't nobody checking for you like that. It's like, oh, it's Kelce. Oh, whatever. Well, it may not be on his level because of the whole Taylor Swift thing and he's worldwide, but like just throw a guy out there, Emmitt Smith.
I mean, Emmitt was too much of a legend.
Yeah, well, another guy. Just throw it out. Any NFL player, just throw him out there. And if he goes into a grocery store, it's like, dang, ain't nobody checking for me? So guys have to. Their psyche is kind of messed up, and it ain't just NFL. It's all sports. It's like when you go and people are cheering for you day in and day out, and you the man, and then you got to go back to reality, and you living like the rest of us. that can mess you up.
Yeah.
Not if you got a good retirement package. And
I ain't talking about the money. I'm just talking about the
Yeah.
mental of like, just being into society. Cause it's like, oh, I wake up every day and I ain't got a routine.
I think that would matter for a player that doesn't have a family, like an Antonio Brown, for instance. Like we can't get him out of our face. But I mean, that's his personality. I don't think he's missing being the man. I think he does miss the game. But I think somebody in Jason Kelce's shoes, having a wife, having kids, really having a family that you can pour into, I don't think you miss the game.
Yeah.
Now you have some psychopaths like Tom Brady that will put the NFL before his family. But I don't know. That's a good point. But I don't know if Travis or Jason misses either.
And I think both Travis and Jason have so much to transition into even after football. Like with the new heights, with
making money off that.
Yeah, the new
definitely.
the Taylor Swift situation. And honestly, Jason really brought his family up with him. I mean, his wife is very much present in everything. Like I could see them diving into something else. Like I don't think
A
that
reality show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, like I don't think that the end of football is the end of fandom for either one of them. I think it's just a matter of, okay, now we're gonna transition into something next, and I don't think
They'll probably do TV.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever have that moment where it's like, oh, they walk into a grocery store. To be honest,
Yeah,
and then they have family, and
right, that's very much out there too. So.
Yeah,
it's a dynasty in itself.
Can't erase who we were, Q.
LeBron James tops 40,000 points mark, extending his NBA scoring record.
I was gonna get over
to the hater himself.
Go ahead and leave because we need good energy in this conversation.
Right. Let's see the bucket first.
To take a shot of this, James against Porter, drive, spins, gets inside. It's good. It's 40,000 for LeBron James, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, with another milestone as the legend of LeBron continues to grow.
Over and over, not just his impact on the game, but the league, the organizations he's played for, his teammates.
Steve, how do you feel?
I mean, 40,000 points is 40,000 points. That's a huge deal. I mean, you look at his longevity in the league, coming in at 18, being in the game that long, over 20 years. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of scoring the basketball. So I mean, it's definitely, nobody else has ever done it. It's definitely something that, he's added to his resume, right? Like, and I know y'all want me to say like he's here, Broderick talking about he's the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. Like, Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball. Like, that's it. And then the argument is whoever else after that, but it's always been Michael Jordan. It always will be. However, this adds. It definitely adds to his legacy. I mean, you get 40,000 points. I mean, man, you can't argue that. Like, that is what it is. It's there.
And then to blow past a kid that was still in Huggies when you were in your rookie season. For your 40,000th point.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael Porter Jr.
though. That's a lot. And not, we ain't trying to like, to go heavy on Michael Porter
and
Jr.
real quick, on top of that, this was the argument that me and my friends had.
And keeps excelling. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like,
Unreal.
You telling me we're gonna get 2 more years of this?
Nah, it ain't gonna be that. It ain't gonna be that.
What you mean? His goal is to play in the NBA with his son. He has at least 2 more years of that.
It's happening.
He too big, man.
He's too big. There's no drop off. Like, we haven't seen
Steve's been saying he's too big for like 10 years now.
Don't get me wrong. Like, he's still going. I mean, he's still going. However, you're not gonna get that night in and night out. Like, he's gonna have to take some time. Like, he's gonna have to take some time off.
Not when you're LeBron James, obviously.
All right. What we got next?
There is no drop off.
Send me
Because Steve has been, y'all. Steve has been hanging on. Like, yes, Kobe ended his career with tearing his ACL and doing all the crazy stuff, but not LeBron. He's a machine.
Literally.
Sorry.
That is an action figure.
Well, I didn't even bring up Kobe today. Why we got to throw Kobe out there?
Well, because we know how you really feel.
No, I didn't even bring up Kobe today. But since you want to bring up Kobe, if Kobe would have been,
it's an automatic because it's a coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Nah, man,
give me a nickel for every second you spend on these coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Next. MLB The Show 24 unveils Women Paved Their Way mode. Last year, the MLB The Show created a new in-game experience for Negro Leagues. Let's see the trailer.
When it comes to big league dreams, no two are alike. Some want to swing for the fences. Some want to put on a show. Some want to perform when it's all on the line. And some want to change the game.
And it's got the entire sports world taking notice.
Whatever your big league dreams, they're yours to unlock in Road to the Show. Unlock your dreams.
Love it.
Yeah, that's dope.
Love it.
So why is there not a women's open?
Good question. Great question.
Mm.
Especially when you're selling this dream or pipe dream.
Well, no, I'm just even thinking about the movie A League of Their Own in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Going over, what was it, women that played baseball. I think it was around World War I, World War II, and they had a whole league. So why are women regulated to underhand? Like,
That's a great question.
So I don't feel like they. I mean, you go through high school, you go through little league, and you go. I mean, granted, some play with boys, but you still go through college, and that's not. They're used to playing softball. Like, they're not playing unless you change it up from youth to.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, why is there no alternative for women after college? Because it's pretty much
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Let's start a professional softball league.
Let's get it.
All right.
Done. You heard it here first, folks. Johnny Manziel to boycott Heisman ceremony until past winner is recognized. He had released a statement via Twitter. After careful thought and consideration, I'll be humbly removing myself from the Heisman Trophy ceremony until Reggie Bush gets his trophy back. Doesn't sit right with my morals and values that he can't be on that stage with us every year. Reggie is the Heisman Trophy. Do the right thing.
I wonder what's humbled Johnny Manziel over the last couple of years.
Shoot. I mean,
is it that thing you talk about, being away
talk.
from the game, being away from fandom and stardom?
Could be. I mean, he's heard enough of it. Like, well, Johnny Manziel this and Reggie Bush that. It was the black and white thing, right? Like, maybe because Johnny Manziel was at Texas, he's white. They didn't take his, and he came out and did the Netflix special, right? And you still have Reggie Bush sitting over here with no Heisman trophies that they took away. And it's like, dang, do I really want to still be? Nah, I'm gonna join the culture and be cool with it. Like, I'm gonna ride this wave. So,
and also, I wonder what kind of relationship is between those two, because that to me, this sounds like there's some sort of relationship there.
Yeah, looking out for him.
I like that. I like it. Denver Broncos reportedly give QB Russell Wilson the go-ahead to talk to teams before release. He's back in it again. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe.
Yeah, because he was visiting Pittsburgh yesterday.
I think the number one question for coaches that are interviewing Russell Wilson is that, will you be able to be a mentor? I think he's at this point in his career where they ain't expecting you to start and be the man.
I think he's going somewhere where he wants to start.
Okay.
But I think being a mentor is by action. And I'm expecting.
You mean on the field?
On the field, off the field. I think your leadership and action and how you prepare for the game, how you play the game, that's leadership. Like, I don't think leadership is hey, you're the backup QB, you're gonna be replacing me soon.
Right.
Let me teach you everything I know type of thing. No, I think Russell is going to lead. I don't think this is a situation like where Alex Smith has to groom Patrick Mahomes. I think Russell still has some good playing years ahead of him. And especially seeing how the season ended, with him taking a very, very impoverished team and being able to string together the wins that he did at the end of the season. It shows that he's able to lead. It shows that he's able to be the Russell Wilson that we remember And I don't think there's an issue. I think the issue was the Denver Broncos. And I think a lot of the criticism that goes towards Russell takes a lot away from the Denver Broncos and how they handled this situation. And especially with Sean Payton. I think a lot of what they did, they fumbled. You come in, you pay all this money for Russell Wilson, and then you bring in a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator, and then you expect him to go be Jesus. Like, no, that doesn't work. And we saw him at the end of this season string together some wins and really show other teams that he's still Russell Wilson at the end of the day. And I like him visiting the Steelers because, one, the Steelers have a young QB, but the Steelers are also an organization that's not going to sabotage the players on their team like they have. Now, they didn't handle Le'Veon Bell the best. And if you're Russell Wilson, you see that. You've seen that. But I think they also take care of their quarterbacks. So,
and to that point, they were in front of it, though. They were in front of the Le'Veon Bell. Like, Pittsburgh's head coach wasn't like shying behind, running from it. He's out in front, and to playing for a guy like that, I would play for him.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we saw how this ended in Denver with Denver trying to swindle him out of money and out of playing time, like really trying to hold him hostage.
That was wild.
Like, that shows you how poorly ran of an organization that is.
Facts. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss Las Vegas Aces making WNBA history. Keep it locked in. This W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Your loved ones matter the most. Take the burden away by pre-planning personal arrangements that fit you and your family perfectly. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services will be here to comfort your family and take special requests. Plan and feel confident your loved ones will be less stressed and can console each other in their time of need. We will be here when you need us at 816-231-GATE or visit kcgoldengate.com. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasoning to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
Right. They make it fun. Fun. And I feel like I also have to credit, of course, the college women to bring in the fun and attraction to it. I think it's a booming time for women's basketball.
I think it's just a cultural thing for women's basketball.
Yeah.
Like, if you went from, playing in AAU high school to college to the pros, it's always a team. We didn't have too many one and done type women. So you have that camaraderie there, and then you also have the community of making the women's game better. I mean, the writing's on the wall, and the NBA better get it together with their feeder league.
Absolutely. Now, you did mention working your way all the way through. Jamal Crawford says problems with AAU systems starts with delusional parents. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
Being a parent, you got to be honest with yourself on what your kid is able to do and what they're not able to do. Because if there's a kid that's better than your kid, you've got to be just quite honest. Like, prime example, my son broke his finger beginning of the season last year. And it was tough mentally, right? Like Peyton, I told him, like, you've got to work your way back. He had to understand that. It was tough for him, but worked his way back, hit 2 home runs. And then broke his foot, like going into fall baseball. And now he understands, like, I didn't even have to say anything. He's like, and I know what I got to do. I did it before. He's like, I know it may be a kid in front of me. I know this, I know that. So I'll work my way back. I'm like, bravo. You know, so, and I still instill that, but you know, it's to be a parent and see your kid have to go through that. The problem is a lot of these parents want to live through their kids, want their kid to have the career that they didn't have. And I mean, I know it's hard, but shoot, you gotta let your kid thrive on their own. You gotta let them, they either got it or they don't, and you'll know really quick if they got it.
Let the players play, let the coaches coach.
Yeah, and I'm not around the AAU game, so Jazz, you are far more qualified to speak on this.
Yeah, I think definitely what Steve said. Number one is just knowing your role as well.
True.
I think a lot of people, I mean, parents, you drop your kids off at practice, you go do whatever, more power to you. We like working with your kids.
Yeah.
And so you don't see the everyday of what we see. You don't see the snarks, the attitudes, the comments or stuff like that when you really truly get to know those kids as basketball players versus being the dad.
Yeah.
You know? And like, of course, you're always going to see the best in your kid. Absolutely.
Yep.
Any person would. But those all go into whether you put that kid in the game or not, or whether you depend on them in certain situations.
Yep.
Because I've seen all these different interactions as far as them being a basketball player. And I think that's such a big thing, deciphering that. And of course, even I struggled in the beginning of me starting to coach club with, yes, kids that I'm familiar with are familiar with their parents and their families and stuff like that. And it's hard setting that aside of like,
relationships.
Yes, relationships aside. And you care about the kids. Like, obviously we grow a relationship talking with the kids, working with them day in and day out. And so you kind of have to set those biases aside. As much as I love Sally, this is not her time to shine right now, you know? And that's definitely tough in the AAU game. And it's hard as a coach to explain to parents that too. Like, you kind of have to play the bad guy role. And I think that's been a learning experience for me as a coach, of not always having fun.
You know what? It's hard. You know what the real thing is? These parents spend hundreds and thousands of dollars for these trainers,
right?
And their kid isn't getting any better, and it's like it's not translating into the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why they get upset. What you mean he ain't? Well, he go to XYZ and does this, that, and the other, and he should be playing. Nah, that ain't how it work.
And I get it. And money and in politics is another big thing in any sports, not even just AAU basketball. I mean, I played club soccer all my life, and yeah, when certain parents are paying a certain ticket and other parents aren't paying certain tickets, that's hard. And I get that. And so a lot goes into it, but at the end of the day, like I said, you gotta let the players play and the coaches coach. And it's tough. It definitely is. I couldn't imagine being a parent involved in it, like you said, and having a money investment too. I think that's where I will struggle, because right now it's a different type of struggle, not having the kids involved, you know. But I get it. I get the bias. I get that you want to fight for your kid or you see it, but either they got it or they don't got it.
Yep.
And that's hard.
But my message to those parents is, hey, you need to work with your kid outside of practice.
Exactly.
Like my dad used to hit me ground balls in the hood in our backyard. So you have to like take that extra step. And it seems like those parents, because I've been away from Little League for a long time, and it seems like those parents ain't putting in the work.
Yeah. And honestly, some of those conversations with parents too, like I'd be more than happy to have that conversation of like, this is exactly what they need to work on. And then you can see it versus just like disgruntled parent who's just mad that they're not playing. Like, hey, we can totally de-escalate this and talk about what needs to be worked on. It's not that it's not possible. But I think, when you have so much money and time involved and stuff like that, I get it. Like,
real quick, the best kids don't pay. We can move on.
Sheesh. Mic drop.
That's true.
On to the next. Mike Tyson set to fight Jake Paul in boxing match at AT&T Stadium in July. Netflix released a promo video. Let's check it out first.
Hated it. Can we move on?
Honestly, I don't even know about watching this fight. I mean,
it's another money grab.
Yeah, I ain't even mad. Go get your money.
Both
of them.
But I don't want to see this fight. And especially if Mike Tyson doesn't drive him into the ground, and buries him. But I mean, outside of that, it's probably going to be an exhibition, and I don't want to see that.
I agree. Steve?
I want to see it.
Fair enough. I guess we'll see. Let's get into our hate or love it segment.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week this week, we have the Air Jordan 4 Women's White and Gold.
I like them. I mean, I wish I could get these. These are fire.
I don't think so. I mean, they're decent.
Yeah, they're okay. They're missing a whole lot, and I don't know what it is.
Those gold hints are like, I don't know. It's giving like cheap looking or something. The gold is not really.
Nah, these fire.
Yeah, I think they lacked on design. I wanted to see
a dope
some
fit.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I mean that's a good spring, summertime.
They go with what you got on right
fit,
now.
But
fair enough.
Yeah, now you see them,
I just don't. The gold is like giving cheap or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the gold on there.
I
don't know. Kyrie Irving's new signature shoe, the Anti-Kai 1.
Fire.
Trash.
I like these.
Terrible.
These are really dope.
Terrible. No,
crazy.
thank you.
Y'all crazy.
These are
colorway is nice. Yeah, Kyrie did one with this.
you can throw that up in the air and shoot it.
I agree. My favorites this week, the Nike Dunk Low waffles, though. I'm digging them.
I don't like these either.
Me either. Nah,
these
you
look
like
like
it?
these are very skateboarder shoes.
I like them. I dig them. Nice little neutral colorway. I like them. And then the worst, absolute worst this week, Nike LeBron 4 Fruity Pebbles.
Get that birthday cake out of
Elementary
here.
school.
I don't like these either.
Terrible.
Yeah. Apparently, LeBron likes them.
Hard pass on that one. Dartmouth's men's basketball team votes to unionize through steps. Those steps remain before forming labor union. Hate it or love it?
I love it.
I like it.
Yep.
Unionize these
Ain't nobody else gonna be worried about it though. They worry about NIL dues.
Facts. Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy breaks 40-yard dash record at NFL Combine. Let's see it.
Here it goes. Oh! Indeed.
That man was moving.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
I mean, how fast can y'all run a 40 right now?
Not like that.
You know, I'm probably somewhere around the 4 or 5 minute mark.
I'm gonna give myself a 4.9.
4.9?
Yeah.
Woo! I'm
Radio show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who express them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.